questions at any point, please feel free to drop them in the chat box and we will take them towards the end of the webinar. Now, next slide, please. In today's session, the session is part of basically National Green Communities Program, and the idea is very simple, like how housing societies can have, sustainable savings through rainwater harvesting, waterproofing, and smarter society management solutions. And we'll learn a bit more about what BlockPilot is all about, so that you will have a very clear and practical roadmap. Next slide, please. Now, let's meet the team. Before we begin, a quick introduction to the BlockPilot team. We come from background across real estate, sustainability, finance, and operations. And we have been working with closely more than 1,000 societies across Mumbai. So that's a great boost for us. And thanks to all the members like you who are supporting us. By the way, I am Alok Junjanwala. I am also the co-founder at BlockPilot. Let me now kick off things, and I would like to introduce our first speaker. Next slide, please. Mr. Manish Gandhi. Mr. Manish Gandhi is a promoter and water sustainability expert with over 12 years and hands-on experience in water conservation and management services. So I would like to request Manishji to take over from you. Over to you, Manishji.
Okay, great. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Alok, for giving me such a lovely introduction. And okay, sorry for that. Okay, so let's like this is the first point and the topic of communication of today. That is rainwater harvesting. Let me just give you a brief about my company, about Alliances. Our company Alliances has been formed about 8 years back, and I am in the industry for water conservation and water management services since the past 12 plus years. This is almost now, sorry, 13 years today. And we basically reach out to, we help and assist in conserving the water, especially the rainwaters that is, during the monsoon seasons that is being, we get it through the rains. And we do the turnkey solution. That is, we provide consultation, we provide designing, we provide execution, and we also do provide the maintenance of the systems that we make. Now on today's topic, and that is rainwater harvesting societies. Sorry, rainwater harvesting for housing societies. See, the thing is, why everybody should be doing rainwater harvesting? That is going to be our topic in the coming communication. Then we have the myths and the realities, practical implementations, and what are the benefits of rainwater harvesting. Yes. Next slide, please. As you know, Mumbai does get abundant of rains, and the rains are really abundant, wherein we even see water logging issues and we see red alerts in many places. So, next slide. S- Still, still, we the societies do face water shortages during summer, even after the monsoons. So you see tankers running all over. Why does that all happen? We have dry bore wells. Previously, the bore wells used to go dry somewhere in the month of March and April, but from the past decade, the bore wells are going dry since the past since December, January, the bore wells start going dry. The water levels start falling down, and even after receiving so much of rainfall, why do we still buy tankers? Why do we still face all these problems? Now, these problems are nothing but it's concretization everywhere. So there is no percolation of water, rainwater into the ground. There is increasing demand because of the increasing infrastructure everywhere. Like we see a building coming up almost every week, there is a new construction coming up in your localities, and because of which the water consumption and the demand is very high, and above and all that, the uh, the extraction that is happening through the bore wells, there is no recharge back to the bore wells, so the water tables are depleting. And wherever there are rainwater harvesting structures being implemented, still they are not designed and implemented in the real form. Many of the builders just make it as an eyewash for the OC purpose or for the compliance. So, and there are many other reasons wherein which give to this reason why our societies are facing rainwater harvesting. Sorry, we are facing water issues and depleting water tables. Okay, next slide, please. These are the current challenges that basically we are facing. almost many of the societies in Mumbai are facing, and that is increasing water dependency, rising water bills, poor borewell yields because of water tables which are going down day by day, and during the monsoons, the storm water drain runoff which is there, that is whatever water falls on a rooftop and it goes to the, and it is not being collected and it is not being recharged to the ground, because of which the most of the water is going into the storm water drain lines, and then from the storm water drain lines it goes into the municipal corporation storm water drain lines, and this water directly goes into the sea. Now wherever we find water logging issues, okay, there are water logging issues. This is because of the simple reason is that the storm water drain lines are not cleaned by the municipal corporations at many places. So there is clogging of water, and then water does flood everywhere. So I'm not saying we go clean the municipal corporation line, but at least we can conserve the water that falls into our society and let not that water go into the municipal corporation. Thereafter, that water can be recharged to the ground thereafter, thereby enhancing the groundwater tables. Okay, and climatic conditions also are one of the reasons. Okay, yeah, next slide. These are many a few common questions that come across when we reach out to housing societies, or housing societies want to implement rainwater harvesting, but they have many such questions. Will it really work? What if we spend money and nothing improves? Will the maintenance will be difficult, or it will be expensive? We don't have enough space to store the water. Our building is very old. These are a couple of myths, and these are a couple of questions that come across. And when it comes to the stage of implementation, or when it comes to the stage of execution of this rainwater harvesting structures. So let me just answer in very short, one by one questions to you. Will it really work? Yes, it will. The point is, when you recharge the ground, obviously you make the ground as a reservoir. You don't need to make additional 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 1 lakh liter tanks for that. You don't need to store that water into your tanks. It is natural earth that we are going to be recharging the water to. So there are what aquifers, or there are subsoil water which is moving around in the ground at 8 feet, 10 feet. So that can go and get recharged into that ground. Then what if spend money and nothing improves? It will improve, but I say it will take at least 2 to 3 cycles of rains to get your improvised results. From day one, if you are lucky and if the water table in your area is high, so at that time we can get the results from day one. But in case if it is not, then we need to recharge it, and it will take at least 2 to 3 cycles for the results to come in and your investments, the ROI to come in through. Okay. Then maintenance will be difficult. No, maintenance is not difficult. This systems need to be maintained once in a year. That is only and only after or before the monsoons, either of it. We don't have enough space. We don't need enough space. Also, we just need about 6 to 7 feet of a dia area for the collection and recharging the water. Our building is already old. Yes, it is good. Your building is old, so that there is no issues. New buildings also, it is mandatory, but for old buildings, we can do the rainwater harvesting. Our borewell is dry. Yes, we can recharge your borewell through the rainwater harvesting structures that you make around the borewell, that enhancing your borewell and making your borewell green around the year. Who will maintain the system? The system needs to be maintained only, as I mentioned, only once in a year. Thereafter, once the monsoon stops, there is no input of any sort of water into the system. Thereby, there is no any mechanical, no electrical part involved in this. So systems don't need to be maintained round the year, only once in a year, before or after the monsoons will be done. Will the stored water become dirty? Here, we are charging the water to the ground. So there is no, what do we say, storing of, like stagnation of waters. Our building is going in redevelopment. This is one very big questions which come up in many of my meetings. This is a very crucial point, because today builders, after completion of the project of redevelopment, they need to show documentation that the rainwater harvesting has been done for their OC purpose. If you already have a rainwater harvesting structure in place, you can demand that capital, or you can capital investment from the builder. Builder can get benefited by the existing rainwater harvesting structure so that he can reduce the he can his cost can get reduced for the construction activity. I will just give a simple example. My building, which is there in Kandivali, I have constructed a rainwater harvesting structure before the construction work started of my building. The builder has saved 85 lakh rupees only on construction water bills that he would be spending in tankers or construction lines. He has saved 85 lakh rupees. So this is a very important thing that you should be understanding. If a building is going in for redevelopment after uh, say about 2 years or 3 years, but your communications are on, you can implement the rainwater harvesting system and get the benefit of it from day one itself. Okay, yeah, next slide. So these are myths. Only new buildings can install. I have already answered. No, existing buildings can also install. Rainwater guarantees unlimited water. It improves your recharge, but depends upon your geological the structures, which means your geological below and your rainfalls, actual rainfalls. And it requires huge maintenance. No, it requires simple periodic maintenance that I mentioned once in a year. Expensive usually, is it very expensive? No, it's usually recovered through water savings over the time. Means your tanker savings which are there, that can, you can calculate your ROI thereafter. Borewell will immediately overflow because the borewell water, the many people have a concept that we can let that water go into the borewell, but no, we don't need to put the water into the borewell. We need to recharge the ground, and through the ground, the borewell will get recharged through the systems that we create and through the design that we make. And building is going, as I mentioned, is going under redevelopment. Can claim the investment from the builders. Okay, next. So what is rainwater harvesting? All of you must be aware of the same, but I'll just give it in a very simple explanation. Collecting the water from the rooftop, if required, proper filtration, diverting it to the borewell, or letting it go and recharge into the ground. This is a very simple and a short explanation of rainwater harvesting. And now, instead of letting that water flow into the municipal drains, you are just diverting that water into the ground and letting your borewell get recharged or letting your groundwater getting recharged. That is simple rainwater harvesting. Conditions might be there where you cannot implement rainwater harvesting because of the soil conditions. There you would need to make tanks, or you need to make some reservoirs for collecting and holding the water. But in Mumbai, it is only near the that creek areas where you need to do this, where there is black cotton soil and others. Other than that, there is no issues at all. Yeah, next slide. Now, how does rainwater harvesting system work? It is like the rains fall on the rooftop. They are diverted through the from the rooftop to the ground through the already existing downtake pipelines, which are already installed in your buildings or societies, and it is diverted to the recharge pit. Through the recharge pit, it is diverted it is recharged into the ground, or it is recharged into the borewell, and thereby the aquifers which are there at the bottom level, at the rock level, I would say, where the water is extracted. So they go and recharge those aquifers, and the water gets hold there, thereby improving your borewell yield. What problems you face during the rains, sorry, before the rains, that your borewells are going dry, your borewells will start getting richer and greener year by year. Okay, next slide, please. Uh, these are the benefits of rainwater harvesting from the water point of view. You're recharging the groundwater, improving your borewell sustainability, reducing your dependency on tankers, and improving your water availability around the year. Now, uh, let me be a little clear on here that this rainwater which is harvested, cannot be directly used for potable purposes. If required to be used for potable purposes, there is a treatment for that that needs to be treated, and then it can be used for your potable purposes. Uh, then we come to the environmental benefit. It reduces the flooding, it prevents soil erosions, and it improves your groundwater levels. The water tables which are depleting, they improve thereby. Your sustainability also does improve. Financial benefits. It lowers your tanker expenditure. It reduces the cost that you are pumping in for the water requirement, and it is long-term savings. One time invested, and it goes on and on and on. There is no life or an end to it. Yeah. Next slide. How can it help your society? The same things keep on repeating, yes, but better groundwater recharge, longer borewell pumping durations, reduced tanker purchases, and increased water security. Uh, this
Wow.
all depends. This all depends upon your local soil conditions. Okay, the soil conditions which are most important, and the existing borewell. What is the depth of the borewell, and what are the depth of the what are the yield from the borewells? Okay, next slide, please. So why waste water when you can save it? Let's recharge the groundwater, improve your own water security, reduce tanker dependency, and support environmental sustainability, thereby giving water availability to your future generations to come. Yeah.
Wow.
And this was one book which I was reading, but I will not recommend you to read this book. That is how to get people to take the initiative. But please go on to the next slide. I will just request people to take the initiative to go in for rainwater harvesting, and bring the implementation and the thought of how to bring implementation of rainwater harvesting in your society.
Wow, wow,
That's it
wow.
from me.
Thank you so much, Manishi. That
Yeah.
was behad insightful. And I think the major key takeaway for me is like there is a massive opportunity to save water if we act systematically and if we act now. Right. So
Yes.
now I would like to welcome and introduce you our second speaker, Dr. Sanjay Koyande. He is a waterproofing and structural audit and construction expert with over 35 years of experience. And as CMD of CRT Group, he specializes in water leakage, waterproofing, diagnosis, structural audits, and infrastructure requirements. So now I would like to welcome and over to you, Dr. Sanjay.
Yeah, good morning to everyone. And let me first thank to BlockPilot to taking initiative, as Gandhi Saab has already said. So taking initiative is the first step, and then getting knowledge is the second step, and then implementation is the third step. Unless that is happened, the benefits will not be derived. So taking on that note, I'll just talk about something very important. Yes, we are talking about water. So water is there in our body, 70%, water in ears, 70%, and this water has to be used judiciously. So when water goes to the ground, as Gandhi Sahib has clearly said, it is going to recharge your life or borewell. Okay, so but this water, when comes through your external walls, balcony, kitchen, and so many other areas where susceptible for the seepages and leakages, they create a problem. And we all are staying in a cooperative society. It means that we have to cooperate to each other. Our neighbor is the first person to come for any emergency within a fraction of second, not even minutes. We may have so many friends, so many, beer buddies, but they will take their own time to reach when some incidents happen. But we are very having sore relations with our neighbor because of just the dripping of that water, leakage and seepage. So it's a time where the mindset of people when there is an accident, take a selfie or the video. Beyond that, we have to go at least where we stay. We should have that cordial relation. And one of the impactor to the cordial relation is a leakage and the seepage. So with that background, I'll just go ahead with this topic. So most of the time, what happens during the leakage and seepage, it's most ignored part of it. ठीक है ना छोटा सा है देख लेते बाद में है ना so unless your wife or your mother really pinches you, you don't take sometimes cognizance of it to take care of it. And then because till that time it starts creating its havoc. So leakage, can I have that earlier slide? Yeah, earlier slide please. Yeah, yeah. So who all need? So yes, every individual needs. When you are buying a home from a builder, still it is needed. because the kind of construction quality today we are offered are really pathetic. Then before doing your renovation or your modifications to your home, again you need this. And then, so if there are some, old shops or old homes we are buying, you need these kind of services because this is the heart of it. If you have that leaked seepage prone home, all your renovation cost of 50 lakhs to crores is going to go for toss. Next slide, please. Yeah. So what is happens actually? What are the major damages tomorrow because of simple leakage? The leakage first appear as a simple dampness spot. Then after some time, it started showing the actual live impacts, the peeling of paint, then further that algae and fungi development, then finally lamination of that concrete or that plaster, it happens. And meantime, it also starts corroding the rebar. So there are two important things in any building is a concrete, which is good for compressive strength, and a rebars, steel rebars for the tensile strength. So the combination of these give you a sustainable and strong and stable building. And water with chloride content or water itself will lead to damage both of these. So having that damping spot, moving to peel of paints, moving to algae development, fungus development, and parallelly corrosion of steel bars is create a huge, and finally it starts giving the cracks. So cracks coming, appearance of a crack, it happens quite later date. So till that time, huge amount of damage is made by the leakage. So don't ignore. Next. And these leakages never heal itself. So most of the time, what happens when there is a leakage, you call a kadiya or you ask your watchman, "Are jara dekho bhai kisko bulao," or you talk to your friend or you something, and the simple solution come to us, "Oh, tile laga do, oh, plastic coat paint mar do." These kind of solutions comes to you. See, tiles are the almost non-porous material because they baked at 1000+ degrees centigrade. So water cannot penetrate through them. So what people do, they place the tiles all across on your column, beam, or I have seen the people who are putting the tiles on a ceiling also. So what happens? Water does not penetrate through the tile. So appearance or a visual of it is blocked for you. But that seepage is continued behind the tile. And that is starts damaging your rebars more aggressively, and it moves by gravity to the next floor to the next floor and creates a problem for the entire society. Okay, so that leads to the concrete weakening, and most of the time your electrical conduits are concealed, so it enters into that. So a lot of electrical issues happens. So as the lamination happens, false ceiling, failure happens, or the concrete portion falls off all of a sudden. You might have in last 2 3 days you might have read all those issues, and I think one or two people have already died this year also. So these are the issues which happen because we haven't worked with that leakage on time. Next slide, please. So as I said, this leakage can cost lives, and this is not something which I try to fear anybody. If you just Google, very recently two examples have already happened. So somebody, किसी के घर में सेंट्रल में ही स्लैब कोलैप्स हो गया, किसी का बालकनी कोलैप्स हो गया, किचन में फॉलो हुआ. Recently that man and his daughter, they were sleeping, the entire ceiling has collapsed on them and they died there itself. So these are things we don't have to wait for that. So next slide, please. Okay, so it's not just that it lead to fatal. There are certain things which happens because of algae and fungi development. Your small kid or your mother, which is quite old, they get exposed to these kind of things, and they then aggravation of asthma, shortness of breath, red eyes, continuous coughing. We don't know why we are coughing. Arey, खांसी तो है नहीं लेकिन मुझे dry cough is there. So all these things are, related to all these issues. So this is not the matter to ignore. Okay, so children and senior citizens are most vulnerable. Next slide, please. Okay, as I told, example of given the example, we go by the watchman recommendation, या फिर local plumber we say, अरे देख लो, because most of the time we assume that leakage is due to the concealed pipeline, and then we go by whatever whoever has done repairs in our society, we call them, and so many, people where the scientific assessment is not done, and that is the problem. That reason of leakage is not known, intensity of leakage is not known, and not having scientific connectivity in all those aspects will lead to the failure of leakage. Means you will do the repairs, costly repairs, but it will not give you results. Okay, so I always quote to the people, do you really go for a surgery without doing any kind of diagnosis? So that is what the diagnosis is very important. Next slide, please. So if you do the wrong assessment, or if you do it directly with someone, the cost of assessment is only less 10,000 or less than 10,000, but you end up doing the waterproofing worth 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees. Repeated repair. So these are the actual loss of your money because you have not done the diagnosis before that, which is hardly any value of few thousands. So what you are putting your house at very, wrong repairs just to save that consultation fee or the diagnosis fee. You have not done the blood testing and you started taking the antibiotics. So you are damaging your house further. Next slide, please. So when we are saying scientific leakage investigation means what? So now with the advent of technology, a lot of new technology has come up where you don't have to break your walls to understand the leakage. A plumber comes, he will always suggest, oh pipeline का होगा इधर से तोड़ के मैं देख लेगा और फिर बाद में पता चलेगा that pipeline is not at all leaking. So these are the people try guesswork, and that's the problem. So if you get pre-hand कि सच में how this leakage is traveling, from where it is coming, what is its actually source, without doing any damage to my pre-existing structure, that is where these specialized thermal imaging cameras what we got from US company, which is specifically used for US Army bunkers. So whether bunker is getting leaked or something on the and specifically used for bunker managements, you know. So these are the specified cameras we got them from US, and we are doing this. What they are having advantages over anything in the world right now is high resolutions. So beyond the tile, beyond your ceiling, they can see through what is happening. And sometimes we have to give exposure, direct exposure, but even partitions and all that, it can give results much better than anything else. So it's a proper science which has been proved in US for so many years, and the leakage relates to material behavior, leakage relates to the moisture migration, and all this captured in thermal imaging. And of course that person has to be a engineering background. It cannot be the kadiya, it cannot be the repair contractor, because he need to understand the way the structure has been created, the materials has been used, and failure tendency of those areas. And this leads to the actual source, leakage path, severity, and the extent. Unless you work on these 4 points, your waterproofing is going to go for a failure. Next
Right.
slide, please. So we, as I said, what we do in that case, we do the site visit, we do the visual inspection. You need a expertise, judgmental analysis, then assessment by trained engineers. Having just cameras from this thing, US, will not solve you. What cameras is talking about, what is this differentiation in temperature, what is in the trail, whether it's a moisture within that particular home because of the AC is running, or spilled water, all these are going to confuse the results. So you need to have the trained engineers on that particular instrument. Then advanced imaging, as I told you. Then the interpretation. Then the calibration has to be done with the different leakage possibilities from your
Right.
software. And then only a right path and right intensity can be understood. And then and then as per that leakage type, if it is a pipeline leakage, then pipeline related remedies has to be suggested. If it is a porosity related leakage,
Interesting.
external crack related, so that source is very important. अरे लीकेज है ये मार दो इससे हो जाएगा, देन मालूम पड़ता है कि नहीं, something is coming from the upper floor, something is coming from the you know unproperly sealed windows, something is coming from the external wall cracks, something is coming from chaja, something is coming directly from the terrace with the capillary path directly to fourth floor from the sixth floor. So all these things are there, and that can be given a right recommended corrective measure. Next slide, please. So in that report, what you receive is basically the leakage source, path, thermal observation, photographic evidence, impact assessment, root cause, suggested remedial action as per that root cause, and professional opinion with a ballpark figure of the repairs. So no, if you decide to go with somebody else to repair, you know what is going to
This
cost.
is
So he
great.
cannot
This
cheat
is
you.
great, Dr.
He
Sanjay ji.
cannot cheat you. So next slide, please. I think that's the last one. So that is why you choose CCRT laboratories, independent scientific investigations. We are not a contractor. We don't manufacture waterproofing compound to sell to the retail customer. Of course, we sell it to the bulk. Our role to identify true cause and give that, we ourselves started calling as a peace agents or a Shanti Dut, because lot of societies we have already, people were filed police complaints against and everything. We resolved those. So many complaints have been taken back in last 10 years, and people have now started, sending sabji bhaji to each other. So that is what we are earning out of our this activity. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Sanjay ji. That was very detailed, and we got to learn so much more about leakages and how to address it on priority. Now, I think the next question in my mind that is coming through is like, how do we actually implement this in our society? And I think that to take us through this, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Ms. Shreya Modi. Next slide, please. Ms. Shreya Modi is the co-founder and CEO at BlockPilot. Next slide, please. So she has done MBA and in finance, and she is a serial entrepreneur with 35 years of experience in real estate, finance, logistics, and IT. So now I would like to warmly welcome Ms. Shreya and to take this over from here. Shreya, over to you.
Thank you, Alok. Before I start anything, I'd like to extend my warm appreciation to both Manish Bhai as well as uh, Mr.
Sanjay
Yeah,
ji.
Sanjay ji. Yeah, sorry. I'm so sorry, Sanjay ji, for really enlightening us with the right, solutions for what we should be doing, considering that we are in the monsoon and these are the two biggest challenges we face today. Yeah. Okay, so what is BlockPilot? In order to show you this, let me just take you through uh, a little slide, a little reel, which will actually help you figure out what exactly we do. Um, Aniket, can you play it, please? Aniket, just go to the link on the right. Yeah, and just open that and play it, please. Okay, seems like we are having some technical issue. Aniket, are you able to do it? Not a problem.
Maybe what I can do is maybe I can intervene and share my screen and see if that works. Does that sound
Sure,
okay?
Alok. I'd
Let
appreciate
me
it.
try. I'm not sure if it's happening. Go to browse tabs. Or maybe if you can share your screen from your end, that'll be great.
I'll need access to share. Can I get that, Aniket?
I think it's on the slide now.
Okay. Can everybody hear what we are doing? No.
No, we
Okay.
can't hear. I think just move on.
Okay. Let's go on. So essentially, this is a little clip which shows one member of the society really hassled about everything that needs to be done by society, and we have a solution to it. So let's move on to the next slide for the solution. Aniket, can we move on to the
Move
next
to the
slide?
next slide, okay?
Aniket, are you there? Okay, so this is about BlockPilot. Whatever your society needs, we come into the picture. We help you discover the right means of doing it. We make your decision making much simpler, and we ensure implementation and monitoring is done really well. Aniket, can you move on to the next slide? We have a bunch of services, over 100 services that we do. How we are different is we have a technology solution. If you can see on the screen, this is something we presented to a society in Breach Candy. They wanted to digitize their 130-year-old records. So they had given us a task of finding the right vendor for them. We had four vendors who actually quoted the society. But what did we do? How did we compare them? So we not only gave the price per page, we gave them the payment terms, we gave them how long each one of them would take to do it. Then what we also did is on the next page, we gave them the credentials of the vendor. How do you decide? Do you decide only on low price or do you decide on other parameters? So we've made an attempt to give the other parameters also equally well so that we equip you, we empower you to make the right decision. So if you look at this particular case, CFA Spark went ahead and chose the second vendor even though he was the second highest. And the reason is that the committee had worked with Hindalco before and they realized that the record keeping in Hindalco was very, very meticulous. And therefore, they said, you know what, this is the right vendor for us. So, this is how simple we make it. You just enter your requirements and you get something like this in front of you. You don't need to reach out to multiple people. You get their quotes, you get their years of experience, their references, their clients, and it becomes very easy for you to make a decision. Not just easy, you are also empowered to make the right decision for your society. Aniket, can you move on to the next slide, please? Okay, so here are some examples. We have done PMC and development advisory for housing societies. This is a society in Warsaw, Magic Carpet in Warsaw. The standard, area, extra area, as everybody knows, the developer offers some extra area to the society's existing members. So the offer they had got was about 40%. And because of the advisory of our vendor, we were able to get this 40% to 70%. That's a massive, it's a 75% jump over what you were anyway in addition getting. So typically, somebody who lives in a one bedroom gets a two bedroom. We were able to move them to a three bedroom. The incremental value that was unlocked was 3 crore plus member. And over and above that, see, 84 crores were saved for the society. Now, can you imagine the impact created? And for the member, it's 3 crores additional, 2 bedrooms in a sea facing apartment additional. So, I mean, I'm just trying to point out the kind of impact getting the right, decision that would make on your society. Move on, Aniket. So this is the table that I had shown you, Seaface Park in Breach Candy. 80 plus years of records we were able to, convert into digital format for them. In fact, last week I got an email from Seaface Park appreciating what we had done for them and asking for another online meeting so that we could decide the way forward for the society. Ever since we have, started giving them services, they reach out to us as a single point vendor for all their society needs. Aniket, next. Here, Baya Central, they needed a vendor. We were able to replace the vendor for them in 15 days' time, where the service quality increased without any operational disruption or any cost escalation, which meant that the value was retained. It was a long-term value that was retained. Yes, Aniket, next. These are some of the testimonials that our societies have given us, on how they appreciate what we've done for them. Next. Okay, so these are some of the services we offer. As you can see, it's a one-stop shop for all your needs, starting from, when you enter a new building that a developer has entered, by doing the complete society handover, all the way till your, building becomes old and you want to go for redevelopment. We come in as your advisors and your PMCs and everything in between. Yeah, move on, Aniket. Okay, so here we are, 15 plus team members, 1,000 plus societies now, and 10,000 plus vendors, and growing every day. These are some of the societies who have given us a lot of work, and they're very happy with our service. Next, Aniket. Okay, these are again some testimonials. Not only do we have testimonials from societies, our vendors are appreciating what we've done. If you can see, Paritosh Kumar is a civil contractor, doesn't know English. He also has, written his testimonial in Hindi, appreciating the kind of work that we've got for him.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, so now we have something that's very attractive to housing societies. We offer free solar installation and maintenance. Here, let me bring a point here that when we say free solar installation and maintenance, we mean that we get an investor to invest in your solar system on your behalf. It doesn't mean that he's going to do it as a CSR activity. It means that he's taking away your initial investment so that you start saving money from day one. You don't have any capital investment to make, and whatever payment the investor expects is going to be less than what you would have paid if you had not installed solar. Similarly, we can offer you, a free green audit. We can, Manish Bhai here is happy to offer you free rainwater harvesting, audit. And likewise, of course, Sanjay ji will not offer a free service, but his service practically comes at no cost, where you can save thousands or perhaps lakhs of rupees by just doing, it in the right manner, using the right technology, and avoiding a lot of breakage and damage costs later. So move on. So
That's
all these are available on our platform. Do feel free to use them. You can log on to www.blockpilot.co, and whatever you have, you can just put it in there, and we will be at your service.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Shreya. That really simplifies things. And thank you so much again for sharing all the varied case studies. And I think the biggest key takeaway here is that you don't need capital and you don't need to manage complexities. You just need BlockPilot, right? Great. Thank you so much to all the three speakers. Now we'll open the Q&A session. If you have, I think, see so many questions already floating in the chat box. Please drop them into the chat box and we will take them one on one. And thank you so much, Manishi, for answering few of the questions already. But for the benefit of all who cannot access the chat box, I'll just read it out aloud. Sandeep ji is asking, what is the biggest mistake societies make while implementing rainwater harvesting? Manishi, would like to briefly explain for the benefit of other members? That'll be great.
Yeah, just a moment. I will just open my chat box and I will also. Okay. So first of all, the biggest mistakes that see ignorantly they are doing these mistakes. They are not giving any intentional. Is that they are not designing the systems properly. It is sometimes might be undersized or can be not done properly. The design is most important. First, flush systems are not being installed at places. Directly, the rooftop water is directly recharged to the ground. Then sometimes in many cases, overflow pipes are not properly given in the systems, and in places where they're given, they are connected to the stormwater drain lines. So and to the sewage lines also in many places. So whenever there is an overflow in the sewage or choke up in the sewage, that water intense comes into the in turn comes into the system and contaminates the entire setup that has been done. And the most important thing that the societies do, it's don't take me wrong, please, but they go by the L1. That is, who is the lowest vendor. They select L1, like how Shreya ma'am just mentioned with regarding to that Seaface Park Society at Bridge Candy. They didn't go by the L1, they went by the credentials of the society, of the vendor. So that is most important. Uh, that needs to be selected there.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much for answering that. Next question is from Veena ji. She's asking, how long does a good waterproofing solution usually last? Dr. Sanjay ji, if you'd like to answer that, please. How long does it take for a waterproofing solution which will last? I think Sanjay is on mute. Let me answer as he has already given the answer in the chat box. Different
Yeah,
methods give different
yeah,
warranty.
sorry. I'll just, because that's little technical, so I'll
Okay.
just put that. Thanks for taking that initiative to respond. Actually, once you know the reason, exact reason identification is very critical, because that reason leads to the intensity. So most of the waterproofing contractor makes this mistake. They reason identification is issue, or if reason is identified, intensity levels understanding is issue, because at every level a different solution is there. So if you are totally damaged, then brickbat is the only which gives you 10-year plus warranty. But now the problem with the brickbat is that that level of skilled worker is not available. But
Mm-hmm.
and the issue with the most of the people is now they want quick fix. They want Amitabh Bachchan to solve their problem and stuff like that. I don't want to blame anybody, but that is something really, bypassing the actual scientific reasoning and the root cause understanding.
Got it.
So if something can happen, then a normal cracks or something is there, then even your coating will do the things. But the coating life is not more than 2 years to 3 years. And coatings are susceptible to the more of a environmental impacts. So that's the problem. But then there are membranes are there. They have further more thicknesses. So that can last further more. But that is again limited to certain level of root causes and the intensity. So again, I'm coming, root cause and related intensity decides the application or the solution. And that gives you the long lasting various stages, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 11 years. Beyond
Got
11, 12 years, nothing is there as of now.
got it.
People
Got it.
take 10, 15 years, but nothing is there like something like that.
So the next question is to I think Manish ji. मेरी हिंदी अच्छी है बट मेरी हिंदी रीडिंग कैपेसिटी आई डोंट नो. लेट्स टेस्ट इट. सिस्टम लगाने के बाद सोसाइटी में इसका फायदा कितनी जल्दी देखने लगता है? If I
Okay,
read right, Manish.
it can be uh, it can be from day one, depending upon the soil conditions. The groundwater table क्या level पे है, उसके ऊपर बहुत depend करता है. So, in case if the water table is at 8 feet, 9 feet, yes, you can start recharging and you can start seeing the results from day one itself. But
Okay.
as a normal practice, I will suggest in a normal, as a thumb rule sort of, it'll take at least 2 to 3 monsoon cycles to see the actual results. But yes, if the groundwater table is good, you can see the results from day one.
The next question is, I think, related to Sanjay ji. If a society wants to prevent leakages before next monsoon, what should they do today? Why next? Why wait for next monsoon? Can it be done this monsoon as well?
Yes, during leakages, like right now, monsoon is on and people are facing the leakages, so that can be done to itself. But someone is proactive. He asks that before monsoon, can it be done? Yes, but there is a time period is there. Somewhere in the December, they have to do the pre-assessment. In that, whatever the identified probabilities or the issues which can lead to leakages has to be repaired before somewhere around March, April, so that that monsoon there will not be a trouble. So bolte na prevention is better than cure. And we do have that annual maintenance contract system. In that annual maintenance contract, we do the assessment in the month of December, January, November, December, January, and we give
Mhm.
them what are the probabilities of issues, not just leakage seepage, various other structural issues also. And then they have to plan for their repairs before April, May, so
Got
that
it.
if as the June, May end or June monsoon comes, almost 90-95% issues are not there.
Understood. Thank you so much for answering that. The next question is probably for Shreya. Venus is asking, can BlockPilot help us manage rainwater harvesting, waterproofing, and other society projects on a single platform? Shreya?
Yes,
Uh,
Vinaji. Yes, Vinaji. That is the purpose, the very vision behind our platform. That we make it simple for societies. It's a single one-stop shop where you can just enter whatever you need and have our team taking it forward.
Another question from Anilji is, there are so many service providers in the market. How does BlockPilot help societies choose the right vendor? Shreya, can you
Yeah.
please take
So
that?
again, here, one is we have a set of verified vendors. Secondly, we provide you with the credentials of the vendor, which means what they've done, how old are they, where have they done work, some of the reviews, testimonials that they have. And we are also giving you these things in a comparative manner so you can actually choose and get the right choice. So you're ultimately, you have better outcomes, your decision making is better, and you can also monitor your work done there. Your payments can be handled there. So it's a single ecosystem which helps you do everything.
Got it. A very interesting question I am reading in the chat box is, what are the best recommended methods that convince people in society how to go green?
Yeah. So this is Axe. Your name is Axe, right? AKS?
Yeah, that's what it read,
Okay,
right?
okay, okay. So I would recommend that we conduct these webinars regularly. Do encourage them to attend the webinars. We can also share some marketing material with you, which you can share with them, and hopefully also the fact that, in monsoon, you will have a leakage, and, that automatically, means that it has to be sorted. Similarly, if everyone noticed, this summer, almost everyone's electric bills have almost shot up by 100%. Everybody I spoke to had 100% more electricity
Yes.
bills. Now, that itself is education enough, I mean, everybody and nobody wants to pay double electricity costs. Similarly, water shortages, they're going to happen. Similarly, waste management rules are going to kick in. So automatically, these things are going to happen. You might as well be proactive and start doing these things before the problem actually occurs.
Interesting. So there's Mr. Shah who was saying that he has a company which deals in exterior building repairs and he is into business of more than 20 years. Is there a way to get onboarded with BlockPilot?
Yeah, I've already written to him. Yes, Mr. Shah, do log on to our platform. There is a section where you can register as a service provider. Please go ahead and register. Anything that is appropriate to your category, you will automatically get on any work, you will automatically get on uh, your dashboard itself. But do make sure that you enter everything, including what work you've done, what reviews you've got, so that you have a higher chance of being selected.
Wonderful. Mr. Mohammed is asking how much charges for systems for 5-floor building. I believe that addresses to all the systems of rainwater harvesting.
Yeah,
Miss
sorry.
Yeah, Manishji, please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Now, if that relates to this one, what do we say? Rainwater harvesting, then it will depend upon the what do we say? The size of the rooftop area, plus the collection, what how the collection is to be done, and the systems that needed to be designed as per the site conditions. So, without a survey, it will not be possible to give any comment on the charges. Yes,
Okay.
as I mentioned, as Shreya ma'am mentioned, that the charges will not be there for the site visit and the survey if it is in Mumbai. We will give a free audit, rainwater harvesting audit there, and take a complete survey of the premises and give you the proposals accordingly.
Got it. We'll just take this one last question. We are just about time. Mr. Rain is asking if leakages happen only during monsoons, creeping through exterior balconies, terraces, then will pre-assessments 6 months prior help in rightly identifying the source when the everything looks dry?
Yeah, that is as I mentioned that. So every person with his own expertise, they develop their own ways to identify. She rightly asked the question that 6 महीने पहले करेंगे तभी तो बारिश नहीं है तो ड्राई है तो कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करेंगे. Yes, we have our own validated procedure to do that, but yes, first shower gives better understanding. But there is always, if there is a seepage is happening all these years during monsoon only, those seepages are leaving some marks inside the in that particular area, which you might have painted it again, but still my cameras can understand what has happened behind that new paint. So as well as we have certain techniques where we do something and that leads to the more of a fluorescence or something like that. I cannot decode that here exactly what we do, and that help us to do it before 6 months also.
Wonderful, wonderful. Shreya, an interesting question for you. Now that we have catered to 1,000+ societies in Bombay, one of the chat box that I read is, do we operate in Pune?
So I just answered that. Irinji, we currently don't operate in Pune. However, we have some vendors who are happy to serve that region. I would suggest that you put in your requirement. We will do our best to see if we can serve you. And we will let you know whether, for that particular requirement, it's possible, or, it may sometimes not be possible.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much to our esteemed speakers today, and thank you once again to everyone, all the participants for joining us today. We truly hope this session gave you a clarity and an actionable direction. Looking forward to help your societies save cost, become more sustainable, and have a great day ahead, guys. And thank you so much for joining on a Sunday.
Thank you, Alok, for taking us through this, and thank you, everyone. I mean, it's a pleasure to have you take out time for this on a Sunday morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you
Good
all.
day. Happy
Good
Sunday
day.
to all.